Selamat petang dan selamat sejahtera semua. Kita kembali bersama dalam CDL Snippets pada hari ini. Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, terima kasih sekali lagi kerana dapat meluangkan masa pada petang ni. Tajuk yang saya pilih pada petang ni ialah Membesarkan Anak yang Sopan, atau kalau dalam bahasa Inggeris, Raising Polite Children. Saya rasa dalam bidang pendidikan, sememangnya ada negara yang sangat mementingkan adab atau manners dalam kalangan anak-anak atau anak murid. Anak yang sopan ni bermula daripada rumah dan di toko tambah dan dimantapkan lagi di sekolah. Kita nak melahirkan murid yang optimum dari segi fizikal, mental, emosi, sosial, rohani. Aspek sosial ini, kesopanan ini banyak terangkum di bawah bukan saja sosial tetapi juga merentasi ke semua matlamat yang diharapkan berdasarkan falsafah pendidikan kebangsaan. Next slide please. So tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, bagi setiap ibu bapa saya rasa mereka inginkan anak-anak yang sopan, hormat, menghormati dan berbudi bahasa. Nasib baik alam semula jadi menyebelahi kita kerana apa? Dalam arti kata yang lain, hampir setiap masyarakat mengharapkan nilai-nilai atau kesopanan yang tinggi. Dan kita sebagai orang dewasa, ibu bapa, sentiasa terpaksa menunjukkan teladan yang baik. Kerana anak-anak akan ikut ibu dan ayah. Dan mereka akan rasa bila mereka boleh ikut ibu dan ayah, tapi dengan teladan yang terbaik itu, mereka rasa mereka ni dah dewasa. So bagi di sekolah, cikgu tak boleh kata, do as I say, but don't do as I do. Patutnya do as I say and do as I do. So contoh tu sangatlah penting. Dan kalau kita tunjuk contoh yang baik, maka terjawablah soalan ini. Is manners taught or caught? Kalau anak-anak lihat kita, maka manners is caught. Kalau mereka lakukan sesuatu yang tidak betul dan kita betulkan mereka, that is taught. Maka kita betulkan melalui kelas pengajian moral, dalam pendidikan agama dan sebagainya. Dan juga civic dan apa juga merentasi kurikulum, tak semestinya satu mata pelajaran sahaja. Dan yang lebih penting, tugas nak bina manners ini bukan tugas guru disiplin atau guru kaunseling. Tugas membina kesopanan dalam kalangan murid adalah tugas setiap orang guru. Daripada pengawal keselamatan sampai ke kafeteria, sampai pembersih kawasan dan semua. Kita harus sentiasa sebagai satu pasukan untuk membina kesopanan dalam kalangan murid. Dan ingat, ahli sosiologis dia kata, school is a microcosm of society. Maksudnya apa yang berlaku di sekolah, gambaran yang sama akan kita lihat di luar. So kalau sistem pendidikan kita mengutamakan kesopanan dalam kalangan ahli masyarakat, maka itulah yang akan diwarisi dan akan dipamerkan secara semula jadi atau tidak semula jadi dalam masyarakat. So kalau kita lihat apa kelebihan mempunyai akhlak atau kesopanan yang baik? Kita akan mempunyai kemahiran sosial komunikasi. Dan sudah pastinya murid atau anak kita tu cenderung disukai oleh rakan sebaya mereka. Dan mereka juga belajar macam mana nak komunikasi dengan orang dewasa. Dan juga bagaimana nak mendisiplinkan diri. Di sekolah tempat pertama kita belajar macam mana nak mengikut giliran. Macam mana nak berbaris. So simple manners yang boleh ditunjukkan kesopanan yang mudah yang boleh ditunjukkan, mengetuk pintu, yang tertutup, menunggu jawapan sebelum masuk, memanggil orang nama-nama yang boleh mempersendakan orang lain, ya, dan gunakan gelaran-gelaran, ya, mengikut bentuk badan dan sebagainya. Jangan lupa sebutkan maafkan saya, excuse me, menutup mulut bila batuk bersin, memegang pintu terbuka untuk orang lain. Saya tinggal di negara Jepun untuk 3 bulan. Dan banyak kali saya akan memegang pintu, dan kadang-kala kalau ada wanita, saya bagi dia lepas dahulu. Ada sehari tu, ada seorang tu, dia tanya saya, yang you buat ni, you belajar di mana? Saya pun tak terfikir di mana. Saya rasa mungkin bagi saya di sekolah tak begitu banyak, tapi dalam alam pekerjaan kita belajar untuk memegang pintu bagi orang lain lalu dulu, dan juga menghormati kaum wanita, you know. So dia dengar saja apa yang saya katalah. Dan kalau kita duduk di meja yang sama, gunakan perkataan please kalau nak serahkan sesuatu, tanya apa khabar dengan cara yang baik, memandang orang bila bercakap, mengetahui bahawa tidak wajar bercakap dengan kuat dalam persekitaran yang senyap, tidak menyampuk bila orang lain bercakap. So perkara-perkara ini mudah, dan senarai ini tuan-tuan dan puan-puan boleh tambah sendiri. Dan saya rasa semua guru di sekolah patut mengutarakan amalan-amalan ini dan amalan lain yang boleh kita reka, yang kita rasa adalah amat penting dalam mendisiplinkan diri, dalam mempamerkan kesopanan diri. Next slide please. So kalau kita nak lihat dari segi umur, ya, bila umur 1 hingga 1 tahun, 2 tahun, kita ajar perkataan-perkataan yang murah tapi mudah, dan juga dah mula dengan perkataan please. Nak kata bye dan sebagainya dah mula di peringkat umur ini. Dan 3 hingga 6 tahun menghormati orang lain, mengemas meja, mengemas mainan, mengemas buku, dan juga menggunakan perkataan maafkan saya jika terpaksa mencelah. Right? So di peringkat-peringkat umur ini, saya rasa di prasekolah ni semua ni dah mantap. Bila datang ke darjah 1, patutnya perkara-perkara ini semua dah mantap dan digunakan oleh anak murid kita. Next slide please. Dan kalau 7 hingga 10 tahun, bersikap ramah, gracious, ya, beradab, mempamerkan semangat kesukanan. Kalau kalah pun tak apa, tak ada menyindir, tak ada gunakan perkataan yang kasar, dan juga menghormati harta benda rakan-rakan mereka. Bila umur 11 hingga 13 tahun, sudah pastinya sudah terbina adab bila makan bersama. Kalau murid di kantin macam mana, kalau di rumah bagaimana adab makan di meja. Dan mereka dah tahu bahawa menggunakan bahasa yang kasar adalah suatu perkara yang tidak boleh diterima. Dan kalau ada tetamu datang ke rumah, bagaimana nak jadi host yang baik dan yang sabar mengikut umur kita. So bila 14 hingga 18 tahun, selain daripada semua kesopanan adab yang sudah ada, mula kita menghormati di antara rakan-rakan, dan kita belajar memahami peraturan dan mengikut peraturan. So tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, bagaimana membina atau mengasuh atau membesarkan anak yang sopan menjadi kewajipan kita sebagai guru, kerana saya sebut tadi, there is a garden of school good manners. So kita ada garden of good manners di sekolah kita. Excuse me, thank you, sorry, please. 5 atau 10 golden words. Kalau kita boleh mantapkan 10 golden words dalam kalangan murid kita daripada tingkatan 1 hingga 5 atau tahun 1 hingga tahun 6 dan juga di sekolah prasekolah, saya rasa itu akan membawa mereka walaupun mereka dah dewasa sampai ke umur tua nanti. Kerana apa tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, it is easier to build strong children. Nak bina adab yang terbaik dalam kalangan murid daripada kita nak fix broken adults. Bila nasi dah menjadi bubur dah, 11 tahun, 12 tahun di sekolah, itulah masa yang terbaik. So tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, ilmu itu kita boleh dapat daripada pelbagai sumber. Marilah kita sama-sama menerokai ilmu. If a child can't learn the way we teach, maybe we should teach the way they learn. Itu saja daripada saya untuk hari ini. Sekian, terima kasih.
Terima kasih kita ucapkan kepada Datuk Dr. Mahendra for the great sharing just now. So I really like and enjoy the quotes that he was sharing. It's easier to build strong children than to fix broken adult. Ataupun mungkin dalam bahasa Melayu yang kita katakan, kalau mahu melentur buluh, biarlah dari rebungnya. Okay, I believe this is a very significant to us as an educator as well. So maybe we have to think again. If the manner is really tough or hard. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let us continue with our segment now. Actually, I'm broadcasting from my school, so really sorry for the sound here. So today CDL is at the 86 series. Once again, salam sejahtera, salam kepobosan, salam Malaysia Madani, salam Sabah Maju Jaya, salam sepakat Sabah hebat. Salam Day to Change from PPD Kota Kinabalu. Salam CDL Cikgu Mita Tabang. A special thanks to our founder, Dr. Amin Senin, weekly speaker and also our main motivator, Dr. Mahendra Singh, our special guest of the week, Puan Missah Yabis, a teacher from Pusat Tingkatan 6 Sabah College. And of course, I have to mention this special lady as well, Puan LC Sharon Gilog, our coordinator for CDL team Cikgu Mita Tabang Sabah, all the principal and headmasters, educators, teachers from all around Sabah, of course, and definitely from all around Malaysia as well. So, I am Cikgu Siti Azizah from SM Olsen, Kota Kinabalu, will be with you today as your moderator. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our CDL 86 series. Thank you for joining us today, and please stay tuned until the end. Okay, let me emphasize to all the viewers first, the CDL session is actually a sharing session. And we really encourage active, interactive, either in chats or live from everyone today. Before we begin, allow me to share a bit of information about CDL Mita Tabang. CDL, or Connecting Dots Learning, is a series of sharing platform, and Mita Tabang is a native word from one of the Sabah ethnic. Mita Tabang is actually defined as helping each other. So Cikgu Mita Tabang itself is actually Cikgu Bantu Cikgu. The objective of CDL hands-on, okay, if you see, actually started on the screen as well. Berkongsi ilmu dan kemahiran, sharing on knowledge and skill. And kedua, membangunkan kompetensi guru, platform for teachers, competencies development. Seterusnya, meningkatkan keupayaan, inculcate the abilities. And finally, creating continuous network, membina jalinan dan jaringan berterusan. So, we would like to invite anyone here to register as the CDL member by becoming a subscriber. And of course, it is free. So please click on the following link, www.connecting.my, and join us by clicking the Zoom link on the poster. But don't worry, if you're not free, you can always join us at the YouTube and the CDL channel. And so this is actually a lot of where to go to. The next one, beside that, all members also can subscribe by joining us at Telegram, www.t.me/connecting.learning. The sharing session is actually held every Thursday from 3 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. Before that, we actually start at 2:50 for the snip chat, motivator from Dato Dr. Mahendra. And after that, we will be continuing for 1.5 hours. And all the sharing is actually by hands-on, and e-certificate will be given later to the participants. So, of course, you have to wait until the end for the link of attendance to be shared. Now you may scan the QR code on the screen for further information. So before we start, it is much better if we do a brief introduction to our special guest today. So let me share a very interesting fact. Without knowing, actually, me and teacher Missah are alumni of Yayasan Sabah student. And I was hoping that I can see a few Yayasan alumni student here from 1997 to 1991. Okay, thank you for those batch 97, 87, 91 for joining us today. And your support is highly appreciated. Maybe today can copy online while listening to Cikgu Missah. Okay, sharing today. And what the Malay proverb said, tak kenal maka tak cinta, not knowing its hands, not loving. So here is a little bit of our guest today. Puan Missah Yabis or Puan Missah Michelle. She's actually graduated from Macquarie University, Sydney, Australia, and Bachelor of Economics, and also a postgraduate in TESOL and Literature Education, Institute of Teacher Education, Gaya Campus, Kota Kinabalu, before pursuing her master education in curriculum and pedagogy, UKM Bangi. Well, she is a very experienced teacher with 23 years of teaching experience and currently teaching in Pusat, Tingkatan 6, Maktab Sabah. And of course, since I'm using English today, so she is actually an English teacher for MUET since 2006. Okay, apart from that, at the beginning of her career, she was actually a columnist for women's section in a local newspaper. Then she worked for PPIB UMS. And impressively, she started a literacy ministry called Edu Plus K in a local church in Likas, actively involved with NGOs such as Beyond Sabah and Sabah Way Forward. Well, if I have to name all her contribution, maybe we have to stop at 8 p.m. So let me make it short. Okay, Puan Missah is one of the judge for English language state level creative writing in 2023. A best presenter for International Conference on Global Education X 2023, and of course, a very active coach advisor for many events such as Action Research Colloquium and STEM Carnival for this year. Well, without further ado, let us welcome Puan Missah with her sharing. So, Cikgu Missah, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Puan Siti Azizah. We just found out that we are actually fellow XYS students from 1987 to 1991. So it was a really great reunion. It's still online at the moment, but hopefully that we will be able to meet for kupi later on. Okay, so welcome everyone. Thank you to CDL for this opportunity. I am here to share a little bit of my own experience in reaching out to my students and also to improve my way of teaching. So this is just a sharing session for me with you guys, and I really appreciate this time and also this this opportunity to mitabang or mitatabang. Okay, so in Kadazan Dusun, mitatabang, like what Cikgu Siti Azizah mentioned just now, it is actually a chance for someone or a person to create opportunity for another person to respond or to to give back later on. So we call it misuli later on. Yeah. So hopefully I am mitabang here. Then later on, I hope that there will be a chance for you guys to sumuli. Okay. So I will start my sharing. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. Are you able to see the presentation? If you're able to see, please respond. I am using two screens. Okay, I can see, hold on, yeah. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so you're able to see it. All right, so I will proceed. Okay, so yes, so the topic for today is maybe interesting for you to see because it's not really a word. It's 5F1R plus. Okay, speaking skills booster. But let me share with you today how to pronounce it. It's not actually 5F1R plus. It is actually Fifer. So it looks like the 5 there is obvious. The F1R plus looks like fur. So we will call it Fifer plus. Fifer plus, yeah. So this is actually an action research that I conducted early this year with my students in Form 6 in Sabah College. And these students that I actually targeted, they're quite weak in MUET speaking. So like what Azizah has mentioned earlier, I teach English, Tingkatan 6, Bahasa Inggris Tingkatan 6, and the exam that we are going to sit for will be MUET. So one of the components in MUET is speaking. So there are 4 components, reading, writing, listening, and of course, speaking. So speaking is one of the most feared component in MUET because the other components are all, you can do it written, yeah, you will do it in hall and you are doing it together with your friends and you don't have to speak or anything. You just produce something, you just answer using objective paper or write something on a piece of paper. But for speaking, MUET speaking, you really have to say something, and it's very intimidating for most of the students. So my students are very weak in some of them, not all. Quite weak in MUET speaking, particularly in part 1. There are 2 parts, if you're not familiar with MUET. Let me just give you a brief introduction about MUET speaking. There are 2 parts for MUET speaking. Part 1 is the individual speaking, where the students will speak for 2 minutes, and before that, they're given only 2 minutes preparation time. And the topic that they can be assessed on is, the topics will be diverse. It can be anything under the sun. And the weightage for that part 1 is quite high. Yeah, the full mark is 90, but the weightage for that part 1 is 18 out of 42. 42 is the total marks, and it will be 42x out of 42 times 90 to get the full marks, 90. Yeah. So yes, this is one of the most feared component in MUET. Yeah, so my students, I realized that they were fearful. They were fearful of making mistakes. We are all fearful of that. But they're also afraid of being judged by their peers, meaning to say their classmates, and of course by me, teacher. So they are very fearful that if they make mistakes, I will be angry with them and I will scold them. And so these students, they avoid speaking opportunities, and because of that, they were unable to practice speaking in English. Yeah. And another thing that they mentioned when I tried to get their feedback, they said that actually, teacher, they said, Madam Missah, you actually didn't give us sufficient feedback on their skills and their performances. You just gave us the marks, and you didn't tell us why I got these marks. So you told us, but it's just because I didn't give enough points and stuff like that. We want more. So I thought that was like, wow, that is on me. I had been very maybe I lacked that. I didn't realize that they needed that feedback. So those are the problems. And another thing was students' self-perception. They have this mindset. Actually, one of the students that I targeted, she had this mindset that English is so difficult. It is so difficult that she was demotivated. She didn't even like English. And I had a chance to speak to the father, to the parent, and the parent too said, I have no love for English. I do not know why they need to study English. I just know that it's one of the subjects that they need to study, but I do not know how to help my daughter, and yeah, my daughter doesn't like English. I also don't like English, the father said. So that was very interesting because they have very negative mindset about English. Yeah, and when I asked her, what do you like? Oh, I only like to listen to BM songs, or I only watch BM or Malay movies and stuff like that. And I asked her whether she watches Korean movies or Chinese movies, and she said no, only Malay movies. So she was very nationalistic, yeah, very patriotic towards the language, and that was also interesting. So I asked them, I tried to get to know my students better. I asked what motivates them, why do they want to, I mean, what can I do to help them learn more, love English more? And I realized that it was actually the knowledge factor that motivates them, because for them, if you're able to speak English or read in English, you can access a lot of information from all books. There are more books available because more books are written in English. That's what they said. And it is also the social, cultural motivation or factors for them. And they are interested to find out about, about the people in other countries, and they think that English can help them to get more friends. However, they are afraid to speak English. So I told them, okay, your motivation is already right, but let's try to do something else. So I talked to them, what do we need in order for us to be able to speak? Because there are two components in MUET. Remember, first one is individual speaking, and then after the individual speaking, they will have a group speaking. 4 of them, they will be speaking on a topic and discuss. So for me, when I look at my students, I realize that since they are not even able to do the individual speaking, I realized that I won't be able to. They won't be able to tackle the group speaking too. So I said, okay, let's focus on the part one, on this individual speaking component first. So I came up with this technique, which is actually a very general technique, and it's a very common technique. Yeah. So these are the focus of my research, and of course, I wanted to improve their speaking skills, and of course that means if they improve, then their marks will improve as well. And of course, I want to improve my own teaching techniques, because I realized that I was not good enough in coaching them. That is why they said I gave them insufficient feedback. Yeah. Okay. So yes, teachers, if you have question, just feel free to write in the chat, or just interrupt me if you want to. Okay. So yeah, we'll move on. Okay, so these students that I targeted were 3 female students, and they're between 18 to 19 years old, and they will be sitting for MUET this of November. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, move on. Yes, if you are interested to maybe find out more about what is it, my technique, maybe later on after this. Yeah, but at the moment I'll just share what I have done with these 3 students, and then later on we will do a hands-on. Okay, yeah. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so this was the implementation. Of course, because this is an action research, I did a lot of observation, a lot of reflections. I reflected on my own self, and also the students as well. And then I planned, I implemented. Initially, it was not 5 plus, it was only 5 per. So later on, we will know what is the plus. Yeah. Okay. So let's move on. Okay. I think this one is familiar to you. If you're doing action research, you already know this cycle. So I did 3 cycles with my students. And yeah, this one too, I have already done with you. Okay, so this was my pre-intervention data. You have a look at this, yeah? So student A said, I don't like English. Saya memang tidak minat bahasa Inggris ini. And she scored the lowest, yeah? For MUET speaking part 1, we will give them, we will assess them based on three criteria. The task fulfillment, did they answer the question? Discourse management, were they able to, talk? And what about the language? So these marks will be 18, yeah, 18. So there are 3 criteria there, and she scored 1 out of 18. So that was very scary. And I also have the other 2 students, they scored not that high too, 5 and 4. So you can see that I have a problem here. So this was a pre-intervention, yeah. And if you see my what I have written, yeah. When I speak in English, she responded to me in BM, and you can see that they have this exception. Other students will laugh. Okay, if you look at student B, yeah, sama, me also, because macam people laugh when they hear me speak English. And then student A and C, they said, yeah, they affirm, betul, betul. Yeah, so, and then they said, if teachers cakap BM, saya tak takut sangat. So it's more like they want me to speak in BM too, not full English. So I thought that was interesting too. Okay, so let's have a look at this 5. Okay, so like what I said earlier, this is actually very common, and I think you know about this already. So it's actually basically based on your 5 fingers. So there are 5 fingers, so that is why I put 5F there, and then I added 1 ring. Okay, and later on there will be another plus component. Okay, so let's assess the first one. Yeah, the first one is the thumb. Okay, so the thumb is usually when you put this, we could put it like this, it's thumbs up, so it means good. So I told my students, if you look at your finger when you're writing or when you are going to speak and you have nothing else to, you cannot, because you have 2 minutes of preparation, but you have no idea what to write about, you just look at your fingers. So if you look at the fingers, you realize that there must be something that you can talk about, something good. So good will be, you start with something good. So it can be good morning or good afternoon. And the moment you speak good morning or good afternoon, the examiner will give you 1 mark at least. So if it is good, you can also remember that it is good to introduce something. So you introduce your point or you introduce your topic. So this is for you to remember everything that is good. So that is inclusive of good morning, the greetings, and then the points that you want to introduce. So my students said, okay, we can remember that. That is easy because it's good. Okay. And then the next finger is the index finger. And usually if you put this, it is usually, it's a pointer. You point to somebody, or also means 1. Okay, I think in many religions too, they use this to indicate oneness or tawhid in Islam. So I told them the index finger will remind you of point number 1. So there are 5 fingers, so the pointer is number 1. So you have to remember that you have 1 purpose, and that purpose is the main thing that you want to speak about. Okay, so this is point number 1. So your main point, that's what I told them. So if they cannot remember anything else, actually in MUET, we usually encourage students to give 3 points. But if you cannot find anything else, I mean, you cannot find 3 points, 1 point is enough, it's sufficient. Okay, and then told my students, and they really like this, I said the middle finger. The middle finger is usually, we don't show our middle finger that easily to, to anyone, because it's quite offensive to some people, or they get offended when they see you using the middle finger. So this signifies you can proceed now, but with caution. Don't insult. Be polite. Remember that you are speaking with your friends, and don't, if you want to say something, make sure that your points are all acceptable. They are not too extreme, and they are polite. You are polite as well. So this is also, if you remember, this is also second point. Okay, and usually this is the tallest finger, and usually the once you already you have already started with point 1, you actually are now quite how do you say, comfortable with the flow of the topic. So now you're going to go for second point, and usually most of the time the second point will be the longest point, because everyone got so comfortable already, so you want to speak long. So this is also the second message, or second topic, can also be the main message if you remember. But if they don't remember, I told them this is only the second point, and they like it because it reminds them to be polite. Okay, and the third finger is the ring finger. So usually the ring finger is the whenever you have a ring, it shows there is a relationship between you and somebody, or you and the ring itself has a relationship. So I told the students to continue making a relationship with your points. Okay, to also to engage the audience by maybe making eye contact with them, and sometimes if it is later on when you are in your group talk, maybe you can engage them, can interact with the audience. But when you are still delivering your monologue, your public speaking, individual speaking, you just remember to be able to to bond with your audience. So you are supposed to wow your examiners and also your friends. So that's what I told them for the ring finger. Okay, yeah, and thank you, Pamela, Pameline, thank you. And then I told them, last but not least, also in your 5 fingers, you also have the smallest finger, the littlest finger. This is the smallest, but it doesn't mean it's not important. This is actually very important. And this small little thing, there are many things that this small thing can do. Okay, for example, can poke your nose, can also poke your ears and things like that. So pay attention. Okay, this is the little details that can give you more marks. Example, you have to pay attention to your body language, remember to smile, and also the pronunciation or the tone of your voice, and of course your grammar. Okay, and so that is the 5 fingers actually. So this concept, there are many 5 fingers rules around. This one is just one of the modified rules, or 5 fingers, maybe for my students to remember when they are doing the individual presentation. And then the last one is the ring. The 1R is actually 1 ring. I told them that the ring is usually, most of the time, even though it's maybe it is shaped weirdly, most of the time the ring is round. So it means if it is round, you have to come back to the first point, which is good. So a ring is also good, and it is round. So the round thing means you have to be all rounded, or you have to come back to the first point, or to the introductory point that you mentioned earlier on. So try to conclude. I told my students, try to conclude your point with the same note as you started. Okay, so if you remember, the ring is round and it is good, then you will be back to point number 1, which is the thumb, or the first finger, which is the thumb, which is good. So if you remember that, then you are good. You are now all-rounded. So that is actually the fiver. So this was my, I did this with my student. The first time I did this, they were more interested to remember. Ini apa? Ini apa? They was more interested to do that, to remember this one apa. So I told them, you don't have to really remember everything, you know, word by word. It's just that it just reminds you to be good. This is good. This is 1. This is 2, polite. This is sweet. And this one is small but important. And then the ring is round, back to good. So after they said, oh yeah. Now we remember. So the 3 fingers, kan, teacher, they told me, the 3 fingers is the 3 points lah. Yeah, I said, the 3 fingers are the 3 points. So now they sort of see that even if they have forgotten to write their points, they can sort of, at least if they look at their fingers, and while they speak, they will remember that they're supposed to have 3 points. So I experimented this with my students, and yes, it was actually able to boost their confidence. It's very simple, but they were able to, you know, because they like it. They like the idea of looking at their fingers. But when they go to the ring finger, they realize that, oh yeah, I have to look up and talk to my my examiners and my friends. So that was a good, actually interesting for them. So this was done with my students. The first cycle, I did this with them. And then I realized, okay, so earlier on, I did this. Now I'm adding this plus into, I added the plus into the fiver. So I included another element. The first time they did this, they improved, but it was still lacking, because remember when I began, they actually commented on how I didn't give them sufficient feedback. So I realized how should they give feedback when they actually do not really know about you know, what to comment about their friends. And remember, these are very weak students. So what I did was I made a simplified marking scheme for speaking with them. So the simplified marking scheme with them was based on this one, only this, yeah, the task fulfillment. So I told them, you listen to your friend. Okay, in the task, did they actually answer the question? Mereka keluar tajuk atau tidak? Okay, if they don't keluar tajuk, okay, the task is fulfilled. Okay, and then discourse management. Were they able to speak fluently? There is no there is no or they didn't speak BM. Were they able to speak, you know, like do you know, a fluent way of delivering the points? And what about the language, the way they pronounce certain words? Can you understand? So they became oh yeah, betul. Okay, now we know. So I put this into the element. I added this element into the paper, which is the marking scheme. Okay, and I just gave them maybe 5 marks each. If they actually answer the question, if you think they answer the question, you just give 5 marks. If they didn't, then you give 1 mark, or 1 mark, or you know, 2 marks, or 3 marks, something like that. So I encourage them to give positive feedback rather than negative, yeah, in the beginning. So for example, I told them to find what is great about her? What did she do well in her speaking? Oh, and they said, wow, she started with very confident. Say, good morning, everyone. Oh, she was very confident. So they started like that. They started finding small things to compliment their friends. So, and then later on, I told them, but did they do something that they need to improve on? And they did say, yes, yeah, teacher, they have to speak more English. They have to speak better English, things like that, very general comments. So, and then I told, because there are only 3 of them, I told them to bear with it and sort of, you must accept this criticism. It is not actually making you feel bad. It's actually it's constructive. So, because remember in the beginning as well, they're afraid of feedbacks. They were afraid that their friends will laugh at them. So I told them you have to accept that and see it as as positive criticism. It's constructive. And then the third thing was what I call it reciprocal. Students give feedback to each other, and then I give feedback to them. And then I told them, now you can also give me a feedback. Why don't you agree with the way I, give marks for this particular topic? And why do you disagree? So they also gave me feedbacks. Yeah. So that's why it is now plus, because they also have these feedback elements included into the Piper. So now it's Piper plus. Yeah. Okay. And you can see, wait, okay, no question. So if you have question, just write in the chat box. Yeah. Okay. So just sharing with you the post-intervention data. Okay, they didn't actually improve that drastically, but it is drastic in for me. I remember that the student A just got 1 mark, scored 1 mark in the beginning, pre-intervention, but post-intervention, she was able to get an average of 7 marks. So that was really excellent for me. Of course, it's still way, still a long way to go to 18. But this is a jump. It's massive for me. And the other 2, they are touching 2 digits, yeah, double digits. So 10 and 9. So those are like, this is like something that I was able to see that this Piper Plus was actually effective for them, for these 3 students. And they said, okay, let's read the students' comments. Yeah, I feel more confident now because I can tell what are they, the examiners marking me for. Okay, and student A, remember student A was my special student. I think I improved, but not so sure lah. In the beginning, she refused to speak in English. Yeah, I asked her in English, she will reply in Malay. And student C, actually, it's fun also. I'm more confident. And then student B said something that was very interesting. Yes, fun, but maybe different if real examiner, kan? And also they said, maybe it will be more difficult as well if it is somebody that we don't know, because we know you, so we are more comfortable with you. And then they said also that rasanya I improved. Actually, last time I didn't answer because I was laughing, nervous bah. And they said when they see that I was relaxed, they're also feeling less nervous. And student B told me I should have given them clearer instructions next time. So that was really good. And without them knowing, actually, this post-intervention data was actually, I got this data from another examiner. It wasn't me who examined them. So what student B said about maybe they will score differently if they are examined by a different examiners or a person that they do not know. it's actually answered already. I told them that they didn't know that they're going to be assessed by another examiner, not me. And this is the score that the examiner gave them. So that was interesting. And even the examiner, my colleague who examined them, didn't know that they were participating in this action research. So it was everyone was blind except me. So it was really good. So this was the result. Okay, and yeah, this is my reflection. Hold on. Yeah, now, let's just remember that I was supposed to pull you into this. I had been talking about this, and yeah, I think it's time now for us to sort of practice this. Okay, so maybe let's try so that you can sort of use this in your class as well. So let's try the five fingers concept and one ring. And of course, today we don't, you can have the marking scheme. It's very simple. Just remember not to stray from the topic, and whether you're able to deliver it in English, and whether your English is the formal English or whether it is the informal one. Okay, so there are two topics that I'm giving you today. The first one is student bullies should be expelled. So it sounds like a difficult writing exercise as well, but this can be a talking point too. And the second topic is what are the consequences of cheating in exams, or the consequences of cheating in exams. Okay, so now let's interact. Maybe if you want to switch on your yeah, you can, right? You can switch on your camera, or you can switch on your voice as well, or you can use the chat room. Okay, let's try. What is the first? Do you remember? It's not shown on the screen, but let's try. What is the first one? So if you are actually trying to answer this, firstly, what do you do? Remember the first figure. So what do you say? Let me just read. Okay, you can write in the chat. Can write in the chat, or you can just switch on your voice, your mic. Yeah. Okay. So what is the first thing that you can say when you're given this question? Student bullies should be expelled. Do you go straight into student bullies should be expelled? Yes, I agree. Or what do you do? Remember, the first concept is good. So what do you say? Let me just read. Good afternoon. Yes, good afternoon. Okay. Anything else that is similar to good afternoon? Good afternoon, everyone. Yes. Any more? And remember, let me just scroll back to where I introduced the 5 finger and 1 arm. So, yeah. So it is still good afternoon, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Yes, it can be good day. I bid to all the examiners and my fellow candidates. How are you doing today? Wow, that's really good. Today, I'd like to talk about, okay, good. That is already number 1, actually. Okay, hello, good afternoon. Yes, good. Okay, hold on, yeah, where's my, is it here? Here. Okay, so remember then the first one is the purpose. Okay, so what do you say? What do you write to introduce? If you are talking about bullies should be expelled. So what do you say? your purpose of your speech would be now whether you agree or disagree with school bullies being expelled. Okay, so let's say today we all agree that school bullies should be expelled. So what is our first point? I do agree with the statement that school bullies should be expelled. Okay. Why? Point number one. So quickly think about the point, the first point. So you can say that firstly, because, yeah, hold on, somebody's writing. Okay. Firstly, because bullying is a grave error, not error, a grave offense in school. It's one of the, I think for today, it is, it's a crime, right? So if you can say, okay, that's good. Okay, student bullies should be expelled. My first point is they will influence others to join them. Okay, so that is the first point. You don't have to actually explain that much yet. If you are able to just go straight to the point, the first point, you can remember later on to come back to it, then it's okay. But if you can actually maybe explain more about how are they influencing others, okay, they become the leaders for people in the school or other students in the school, and usually they will form a gang and they will be the ones who harass other students. So that is your first point. But if you are unable, if your students are unable to give you the explanation, the elaboration, remember this are for the weak students. If they're unable, it's okay, just as long as they give you at least 1 point, the first point. So, okay, let's go to the middle finger. Proceed with caution. What do we say about bullies? They should be expelled from school. So if you agree, yeah, why? What is the second point? It's difficult, yeah? And it's afternoon, it's like almost 4 and we are, I think we are sleepy and our brains are not that fluid at the moment. But yeah, let's come up with a point for the second point. This is a difficult topic, I just realized, and it's supposed to be for our students who are weak. But don't underestimate your student, because my student was weak, were weak too, and they were able to come up with all kind of answers. And as long as they're able to give me a point, I will accept, even though it doesn't, you know, it's so cliche. The points are so cliche. I still accept. Okay, so the second point can be because they should be expelled from school because yeah, let me see your points. They will create a bad environment for other students to study in the school. Second point, they will affect other students' academic performance or their own academic performance. Most of the time, the students who bullies others are actually, some of them are very, we will be surprised to see who they are. Yeah, so it can be academically they are good, or can be anyone, yeah, these bullies, or they can be very popular in terms of sports, extracurriculum. That is why they are popular, or that's why they can become bullies. Okay, secondly is, okay, we should expel student bullies because it serves as a deterrent to other potential bullies out there. This candidate is a really good candidate, able to use the word deterrent. Okay, so if your student is able to use or produce words like such as deterrent, you give them extra points, you give them extra marks and tell them that is a really good, great word. Okay, so deterrent to other potential bullies. Yep, that is the second point. Third point already, yeah. You have 3 points, sudah kan? You have earlier on you said also have they would be expelled, they would create a bad environment into other school, to other students in the school. They affect academic performance, and then they also this will serve as a deterrent. Yes, that's the word, low frequency word. So yeah, we must award our students whenever they use this LFW. Yeah, so yes, good. So any other points? Okay, if there are no other points, then you go to the little finger. The little fingers to signify that it is small, but it's important. Okay, so it can be the body language, the pronunciation, the grammar. I am not able to see you at the moment, and I cannot hear you. So maybe I'll just accept that you are all confident at the moment, and you are sitting down and you are paying attention. So yeah, your little finger is doing well. And remember, now we are back to the ring, which is the what is that? The back to, it's like a full circle. We're going back to the full circle, which is good. So we go back to, how do you end your your point, which is about school bullies should be expelled. How do you end it? Remember that it should go back to thumbs up. So, okay, good. Let me reiterate my point. Okay, so that means you are going to talk about the points again. Okay. Or you're going to sort of as a conclusion. Yeah. So yeah, if you do this a few rounds with your student already, they just look at their fingers, they already know. But of course, we still have to coach them. We give them pointers on what to say and how to tackle certain topics. Like this one is very difficult. So before we are engaging with them, we should let them maybe read articles about bullies, and we have pre-speaking exercise first. Yeah, then they will be able to get input about what they're going to talk about. So this is how I actually tackle my students speaking in school. Okay, so yeah, it's this is what we have already done. We have done students bullies should be expelled. Thank you so much for participating. The second one, consequences of cheating in exams, is even more difficult, I think, for students to think about, because maybe here in Malaysia we don't really cheat as in exam, as in we don't really. I'm not sure. Maybe this is just me trying to maybe whitewash our our students, but in other countries, I think they even have protests. They come up with protests, and they have like they ask that they're allowed to cheat in exams. But here in Malaysia, I think we are still the most that we can get will be more on soalan bocor, and maybe some students trying to seludup notes into the exam hall. Yeah, but these are the consequences. I think this is one of the things that we can also ask students to think about. And I don't know, you want to try, or do we have more time? Well, okay, now it's already 4. Okay, yeah, so it's those are the points that yeah, it's quite difficult to think of the points on the spot. It's true, it is true. It's just that, like what I told my students, when they as long as they are able to come up with 1 point, that is already okay. 3 points are actually excellent. In MUET, we usually encourage our students to write in threes. Okay, 3 points for writing, 3 points for speaking. So they always remember, because 3 is like then you have enough time. You structure your writing this way, so that you can have 3 body paragraphs, and you have 1 introduction and 1 conclusion. Okay? And they write 5 paragraphs. So these pipers can also be applied. It is also applicable for writing. So the same thing, yeah. So sorry. Yes. So these are, I am when I look at my students, and when I look at this action research that I have done with them, I realized that this is I'm reflecting back. This is not easy. There were initial resistance. Students were not interested. They think it's too cliche. It's like, lima jari, apalah itu? And then also the yeah, I had constraints because I'm also teaching, so it's like I cannot spend too much time on this tree. So those are the challenges that I face, and also the progress, because different students, different progress time. Yeah, so you will face that too as you go on. I think in your action research later on, or when you try to implement this method with the students. Okay, so we are now in the conclusion. Okay, it's not an innovation per se. It is actually very common. A lot of people have been using this, and there are many ways, many 5 fingers method there. If you Google, they're around. Okay, so but this is one of the structured yet flexible framework that we can use to boost speaking skills as well as writing skills. Okay, so you can sort of use this for your writing as well. Yeah, and there are a lot of potentials for it. Yeah, you can also use it for other things, and you can incorporate in the future. You can incorporate other things. Yeah, the AI thingy, the Guru digital, actually digital is very in at the moment. So for me, I'm trying to use or utilize language apps like Duolingo and Pebble. And these 2 apps, I know that they offer speaking exercises, and they can be given. I mean, the feedback can be instant towards the students. Yeah, and they also have online discussion forums, and students can have virtual speaking partners. So I am. This is the next thing that I'm going to do with them, and I know it's very in at the moment. Everyone is interested to incorporate AI into their teaching and into their learning. So this is what I'm planning to do. So yes. Okay, so that is the end of my presentation. If you have any question, I am okay. I will try to answer. If I cannot answer, then yeah, I'll maybe we go kupi virtually. All right. So yeah, please ask me questions if you have questions, or like give me comments. Yeah. I'm sure that all of you are actually, you can do better than this, better than what I did. This is very common, and it's very common sense. It's a common thing to do, the 5 fingers. I'm sure you're already doing it in your classroom. It's just that you didn't maybe you didn't name it like that. Yeah, you can try to yeah, incorporate in your PDPC. Yeah, you can try with the weak students first. I noticed that weak students, they are more open to this kind of thing. If you go for the fluent students that already good in speaking, they might feel like teacher is being very patronizing. Kan? So yeah. Those students who are I'm able to speak at all, just encourage them to look at their fingers, but jangan tengok saja. They remember this finger is good. So at least you say good morning. So at least they speak one word, good morning. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for all your comments. Yeah. No questions? Yeah, I think the link for attendance is now shared in the chat tab, so you can sort of yeah, can fill in your attendance already.
Yeah, guys, really feel free to ask questions. I mean, this is a sharing session, so I was hoping that anyone here, you can write it in the chat, or you just simply switch on your microphone and you can ask Teacher Missah question.
Yep, just ask the questions, and yeah, feel free to, maybe you can also make comment. Okay, I will stop sharing now. Okay, so yep.
Okay, yes, thank you very much, Puan Missah. So I was wondering before, you know, when I read the poster, five plus five, this and that, you know, because we don't exactly have the ideas, and I'm not a English teacher, actually, I'm a science teacher. So it finally today, it's actually a very interesting topic, because who knows that by talking to your fingers like this, it's actually giving you a chances or a preparations to talk. I mean, very hard. And yeah, so I actually know, I mean, English has been introduced to us. Sorry for the noise here, because I'm in the staff room. So actually, English has been introduced to our students as early as they are around 4 in the preschool. Unfortunately, even until they're entering the pre-U, they still don't like it. So yes, I understand how teacher Missah facing the problem. And so we are fully aware of the difficulties faced by all the English teachers who are actually struggling in delivering this language. And I am sure it's very frustrating when the student is mute on the MUET day itself.
From
Okay.
what to mute.
So the other thing that I actually like very much is how she planned to integrate AI in her intervention. Maybe in the next session, who knows? Then Cikgu Missah can once again share with us. So I'm still waiting for any question, because we're still like 20 over minutes before we end our session.
Yeah, I finished early. Maybe I spoke too fast.
Not really actually. It's just like sometimes I think teachers are quite busy nowadays, because we just complete with for the aliran perdana, we just complete the IDME entering mark. So most of the teachers now, especially in the exam classes, they are quite busy. So I'm very sure maybe some of them unable to share, or maybe unable to ask the question, because maybe they're in the class itself. So yeah. So anyway, let me share of our Hazwani. Do we have next week's program?
Ada cik, kejap ya.
Okay, terima kasih. Okay, so for next week, don't forget for the Siri 87 untuk pada minggu hadapan, Siri ke-87, kita ada satu lagi. Memang sangat-sangat menarik ya. Ini adalah untuk guru di tingkatan 6. Improving students' understanding in experimenting using a jotterbox. Jadi jangan ke mana-mana, sebab ini sangat-sangat menarik, di mana kita akan mendapat salah seorang lagi cikgu daripada Maktab Sabah. Maksudnya Maktab Sabah sekarang dia book CDL minggu by minggu. Interesting. Dalam ini Jangan lupa minggu hadapan 8 Ogos 2024 hari Khamis masa yang sama. Kita buka sekali lagi ruang kita untuk pertanyaan. So we would like to open one more time for any question. You can write it down in the chat. Don't forget to click on the attendance link. And for your information, maybe the certificate will be. I think usually if we click on that thing, it took about a day for you to receive it in your email. So. And this can be added by yourself actually into your SKPLM as well. Okay. So I myself, not a science teacher, but learned something new. And so once again, dear participant, this is the most important event. Please switch on your camera. So Hazwani maybe would like to take our photo. So kita mau ambil gambar dulu. Jangan dulu ni. On dulu semua kamera.
Kecil-kecil, mari kita bergambar.
Okay, thank you once again, Puan Missah, for the great sharing. We hope we can collaborate in the future. And thank you everyone here who participate in today's event. And thank you once again. Please have a nice day ahead. Goodbye. Don't forget to join us next week. Have a nice day.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for having me.